Hey everybody, Bill in Virginia. Welcome back. So I'm still over at the cabin and I've added some tree stumps into the mix here, and I used the same vinegar solution that I used on the porch to darken those up, and that worked really well, really quick. So I like that. Kind of coming around on this side. Even though kind of hard to see, just one little stump there about center of the frame. Everything is starting to dry. This has been a couple of hours since I ended the last video. So making some progress here, and I'll show you real quick what I'm doing next. So while it kind of looks like hamster pellets spread out on my little work area, I've spent the last half an hour listening to music and busting apart pieces of dried limbs, the same stuff that I use for the stumps. So this is going to be a stacked wood pile that's going to go beside the cabin. I'm going to use the stump that I put next to the cabin as a stopper for it on the back. And what I'll do with all of these is I will get some wax paper out and I will glue these up using the wood glue, so that I've got a nice pile that should look fairly decent. It'll probably take a little while to build it. I'll build it in layers so that I don't get glue running all over the place, but that ought to keep that cabin warm, at least for a little while in the winter. Wednesday evening, just a little while after work, and I came out and made the first wood pile. I will let this dry for a little while and then put it to the cabin. I've still got a lot more material left over that if I don't use it at the cabin, I can use it other places. So I'm going to see how this looks before I add any more. For this, I used the Gorilla Glue. This will dry sort of a clearish, brownish color. So already I had some spots that were, there it is, on that extreme left, and I can't see the glue anymore. It's dried to a point where it's disappeared. So I've got just a light layer of glue, and you can see it there yet because it's still wet. And I also glued the wax paper so that I've got a base that everything is glued into. So I will let this dry for a while before I try to peel it off. Maybe a couple of hours yet tonight, but we'll see how it looks here in the next segment. A little bit later, and I'm going to go in for a while. I made a second smaller wood pile, a pile of stuff that needs to be cut by my O-scale people, and then a larger wood pile with larger stuff. This will probably go over near where I'm going to be doing engine service work. You know, that's a scene that'll probably be the last one I build on the layout, but we'll see. So anyway, I'll let the glue set and then do more. Thursday evening comes to a close, and the longer wood pile is where I'm going to place it. I think that's going to look okay there. It's about the size that I wanted. It actually fits the space better than what I was thinking. So I'm good with that. So just a quick snip from this side of the cabin. Wood pile looks good up against the porch. I am pretty much done for a Wednesday night. I will add some of the additional wood over here tomorrow, but I got to let that glue set before I bring those over and see where I want placement. So I will continue to do more on the road and on the tracks and other stuff here later. So Thursday after work, and I've got my smaller wood pile in on the porch. I've got a old drum for a burner, and then the pile of uncut logs. So I like how that scene is looking. I can turn my attention to doing some other stuff here pretty quick. I think I am going to put in the crossing as the next thing so that I can get track and that driveway done going up to it. That ought to look fairly cool as I'm running trains, and then do some more scenic work right here, but that'll be coming up. Well, late Thursday evening, and I'm about ready to wrap it up. So I've been at my little makeshift workbench here for a little while, sifted more dirt to get my ballast, and then I have made the timbers for the grade crossing that goes up to the little cabin. So these are essentially roughly 1 foot by 8 foot timbers in O scale. I've test fit them. They will fit in there. It'll definitely look rustic. Certainly not a Class 1 railroad grade crossing by any stretch, but that's the look I'm going for. So this should be fun. Got enough here. I will let the vinegar solution dry. They're still damp, so I'm just going to let them sit overnight, and then tomorrow, at some point during the day, I will get them glued in. I am off work tomorrow, longer 4th of July weekend, so I will be able to get a fair amount done. But next segment should show these in place. So not glued in place yet, and I will do some adjustment, but there's how the grade crossing is going to look. Little vehicles, trucks, tractors. I can make putt-putt sounds. Pop, 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 pop. Drive it across. Coming across like this, and then over here. Then they drop off the face of the earth, but that's how it's going to look. So I'm happy with that. The little pinholes that I put in, it gives it a little detail. It's got some good character. I will center the boards more for the glue in, but you can see how it's off to one side, but I'll fix that, kind of even the spacing out. And then I can ballast. The track's already been painted, so I can ballast from there up to the seam of the module. Going this way, I still have some more work to do before I'm ready to do the ballasting, but I can also then get the driveway in. So should make some good progress on that here with the rest of this video. Well, Friday morning, been outside for a while and been working on the train as well. So I have got first layer in for the driveway up against the crossing. The crossing is glued in place at this point. Everything looks damp due to the glue and the isopropyl alcohol that I use. Ballast is in up the tracks. So again, it's wet. When it dries, it'll dry to a different color here, blend in with everything that's there. So what I'm going to do here, because this is fairly steep going from here to here, that's like almost an inch elevation change. I'm going to put on a little piece of plastic, put some blue tape on it, and I will gradually build this side up with dirt and glue. Just over a few hours, several layers, and I can get it up where it's going to look like it's a embankment coming down. I can put weeds on that, so I'll blend it in, but make it look good. But yeah, I like that. That's a nice little rustic crossing going up and over to that cabin. So we'll let it dry, and then I'll take another shot here. Just a real quick view from this side. So like how that looks. Do some more stuff here after a bit. All right, I've got my little dam. I used some wax paper and then some painter's tape to build this up. This I will let sit now for a day, easily a day, so that the glue will dry and it'll hold its shape. But the driveway is pretty much done. I'll do some additional detailing once all the glue dries up on it, but looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. So Friday afternoon, getting ready to add a little bit more of the taller grass and weeds in and around that driveway. So I've got Woodland Scenics grass materials, and for this batch I've also taken some of the very fine rope materials, cut it to the same length that I did the grass. You can see I've just got it sort of mixed in here, and what I'll do is I'll grab pinches of it and then kind of pull it, make it so that it's all the same size, and start to apply. This should give me quite a bit. I've got a mix of colors and textures in here. So I will put down some carpenter's glue in a few spots and then take this over and start pulling and planting tufts of grass. So we'll see how this looks. This is going to be a little bit different with the addition of the rope in there. So the first of that grass has been added right here, and adding that rope fiber Looks nice. Now that center clump was one of the tufts that I had already made and put in, but the rope fiber gives it just enough color variation and a little bit different texture to really stand out. So I like how that looks. I'm going to add a little bit more over where I've already got some grass planted, a little bit more in a few other areas along here. But yeah, that's not too bad. And I used maybe half of what I'd cut, so a little bit goes a long way in this application. So taking the scenery from the driveway and starting to go just a little bit farther. I'm going up to this little retaining wall made out of logs, and that's where I'm going to stop. I will do the ballast on the track next up to that spot, and then I'm going to make more trees. And I've got a few other detail things to do over here yet, but like that spot's got a place for a tree. You know, where these bottles are, that's going to be more trees. I can probably do a little bit more over on this side yet, but again, trees need to be built. So I'll start making some more trees as the glue sets up on this area, and see what else I can get done in this video. So ballast is in this little scene here. So we'll let that dry and see how that looks later, but yeah, I like it. And this will stay on at least until Saturday morning. I want to give the glue that's in there a real good chance to cure. Even though it's 50% dilute white glue, it takes a while when it's kind of thick, and I build up that one side from right about here up, so good half an inch. So we'll let that go here and we'll see what happens. So it is Friday night, and I have the blue painter's tape off. I will leave the wax paper on it for a while yet. Just let it dry overnight before I try to peel it off. I've gotten too impatient on removing wax paper in the past, especially on the end scale layout, and that caused me to do some rework. So I'm just going to let this sit. It'll come off, and should come off pretty well because I can already kind of peel it like that, but I'll just leave it for right there. But I think that's going to do it for this video. This one's long enough. I've got most of the major work done on the cabin, as well as on the track work kind of coming up to the cabin area. So I think I'm going to call it. What I'm going to do right after this little segment is show a picture of the Plasticville cabin, just one that I found online as originally built, and then just a couple of shots of this cabin, kind of show you the difference with what a little bit of paint and just a little bit of add-on materials can do. So the Plasticville cabin was actually pretty cheap, and it was a fun little project to add some details and to kind of make it look a little bit better. So with that, I'm going to wrap this video up, and next time I will be making, or have made, more trees, kind of continue on over in this area, start doing the work from the cabin to the still. So I've got plenty of stuff to keep me out of mischief, and then it won't be too much longer before I'm back over on that corner and starting on the last module. So a little bit more to do, but I'm having fun. This is good. Next time too, I'll run some trains past this scene, but I got to clean the track, but I'm going to do that after everything dries really well. So keep having fun on your layouts. Until next time.